Welcome guys to another adventure. Today I'm out on a small-eyed ray hunt. After that specimen small-eyed ray. £10 a target, and fingers crossed we can find that bigger fish than that again. But I'm down on a South Devon venue, Rockmark. Absolutely lovely evening. Very mild northwesterly breeze. As you can see, it's like a mill pond out in front of me. It's, I don't know, I would like it a bit rougher for the small-eyes, but when they're in, they're in. There's already been a few fish pulled out, and I know from experience around this part of the coastline that you don't get long on them. It seems to be the cold spells from moving it out in towards the winter months that draw the fish in. They seem to feed up on sand eel, and when I say feed up, I mean feed up. The 13-pound smalleye I had, it was full to the brim, and when I put it back in the rock pool after weighing it before I released it, I wanted to get a quick photo. It was spitting out loads of small sand eel. Now, I normally like an extra large sand eel, but saying that, after that I've scaled down sometimes. Obviously, extra large sand eel has been a bit of a nightmare to get hold of, and I've found, to be honest, that the medium-sized sand eel is a nice size sand eel, especially to target the small eyes. The only thing I don't like about it is the size of the bait. I mean, not the lengthwise, I mean the thickness of the bait. So what I normally do is cut a sand eel in half, and then I attach half the sand eel onto a whole medium sand eel, just to bulk it out. And no activity. I'm on my third cast of the evening. I've got down here about 2:30, which was high water, and I'm fishing down to low water tonight. Fingers crossed we can see a few out. If not, it's a time game, guys. It's about, same with any type of specimen fishing, it's about putting in the hours at the right destination. I mean, if you're after a fish, a specific fish, if that fish isn't around the venue and the areas you're fishing, you've not got a lot of chance of catching them. But obviously, this is my neck of the woods. This is where I've done a lot of my younger fishing when I was growing up. It was a venue which I always like to come to. There's probably about 3 or 4 venues around here. In the space of where I am, in a 2-mile radius, there's probably about 12 marks. But I'm down. It's a pretty famous mark, really. It's had some very fantastic fish over the years and stuff. And fingers crossed it can happen for me tonight. So let's get into the session. Well, folks, so that's what I've got on here now. It's one medium-sized sand eel. These are actually knockout baits from Southwest Sea Baits in Plymouth, and they're a fantastic bait. As you can see that there, the blood what's coming out that eel is phenomenal, and I've already had some good results with them using them this year. I had a nice spotted ray, specimen spotted. And I've also had a couple of small-eyes early on in the year, nothing of size, but fingers crossed it's going to do the job for me tonight. We've been a little bit lacking the video footage, I'm afraid, guys, unfortunately, this year. I've took a little bit of time out to concentrate on my fishing, really, especially when you're doing the club fishing and stuff. It can be hard at times, and the hardest thing about it is a lot of the venues obviously trying to take camera gear and out you up and down cliff faces, long hikes and stuff, and it's trying to get all the camera stuff. And I've tried to move away from, like I'm doing today, if I'm totally honest with you, little cameras and stuff like that. We're trying to be a lot more professional within the productions and the stuff we've done. Got some really big plans for this year, and fingers crossed, give you some nice viewing. European Open is only around the corner. Very much looking forward to that. I had a telephone call yesterday with Julian Shambrook, who's looking forward to getting involved with some of the filming, and hopefully doing some bits and pieces up at Brid, warm-ups for the comp, and bit of gear testing for guys what's up there taking part and stuff. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to, and hopefully we can be in for another good year. Last year, the weather was phenomenal compared to future years. Normally, I'm up there, to be honest, I was like I am now, really, in a polo shirt, and you could have had shorts on, really. It wasn't cold at all. Normally, it's winter gear on, you're freezing after that big cod, and it's wicked. I always used to enjoy fishing it, to be honest. and due to obviously the media coverage that we do up there, I'm not able to fish it anymore. But the guys are up there. The guys obviously look forward to it. Something they look forward to every year. And fingers crossed, we can see a load of big cod out between everybody who takes part. So yeah. So rig wise, what I've got here is a pulley drop down rig. Okay, I've got it about 5 foot long. Because of the size of the tide I'm fishing, it's a 4.4 metre tide for the area I'm fishing, and it's not really a tide that I would normally look at and go, I'm going to go ray fishing down there. I would prefer a bigger tide, but as I said before, when the rays are in, they're in. So what I've got is a drop down rig. I've got a 6 ounce breakaway lead. I've got an imp. I've got this onto 80 pound fluorocarbon. I think it's 80. It's 0.80. I think it's I can't remember exactly. I'll tell you what. Let's go get it. So guys, it's the Invisible Leader 3G by Yuki. Okay, it's that one there. It's 0.80 and it's 110 pound in strength, which is more than enough for what I'm doing. Now this stuff here, some of you might not have seen this before, but this is phenomenal. This is the Ion Power Monster Alshima catfish line. It's 0.80 and it's 63. It works up over 120 pounds in test strength. It is phenomenal, guys. I normally use this for my blonde ray fishing, anything where I need to put, whether fish I know is going to bully me, I always use it. Really, I get away with 80 pound shock leader. It's fairly clean ground, and the only way you're going to lose it is normally in a swell when you're up on the rocks. But I can actually bring this fish into the left hand side of me, straight up in between, and land him on the rocks, fingers crossed. So if I can get it, that's it. So yeah, that is basically the rig body. Then I've got Rovex rubber bead, Gemini bent link clip going onto a 100 pound Gemini swivel. And then I've got this stuff here, which is the Ion Power Monster, another Rovex bead, proper pulley from Breakaway, a bead, and Gemini link swivel. On the business end, I've got 2 4.0 Coxswain Specimen Extras, and what can I say? It's done the job for years, guys. It really has. That style of hook. When I was coming down here many years ago, I was using like the Sakuma Manta Extras and stuff like that, which the hook is very similar to, and they always work well. But what I like about this hook is the strength in it. It's a phenomenal hook, and it does a trick. But I don't know if you can see in there now. You'll see I've got a rubber bead in between both hooks. So what that does is, if my Pennell hook come through, it will cushion it, basically, the knot. So if that hook comes around like that and it got it in the top hook, and the bait obviously come down when it's in the fish's mouth and the fish is on the top, it will cushion that part of the knot onto the bottom hook to obviously stop the strain on the bottom knot and losing the fish. So that is the key to my ray fishing today. It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. Anyway, let's bring a rod in and see what's going on. Now, most of you will recognise the venue, local guys and stuff. It's as I said, it's not a secret mark. It's a mark which best part of the southwest probably know about. It's seen some fantastic catches over the years. Can have weed problems at times. Pair of M427 SUs, which I've just had built by Aaron Ensley. Done an absolutely fantastic job, as always. So as you can see here now, I'll bring the hook down to you to have a look at. Got a little bit of weed on there, but the crabs have got at him. Okay. So this really now is why we have two rigs ready at all times. Put that rod down there a second. So it's a simple case of unclipping that one, clipping that one there back on. Just finished work if anybody's looking at the high vis bottoms. I've got a good boss. He knew that I was after getting away a little early today to get the spot, because I can see it being rammed later on. And he's a fisherman himself, so he's a good, lovely old boy, he is. Right, so that's basically it. Now we'll fire this one out to the horizon and see if we can get one out. Slightly a little bit too much off the mag then. Got away with it, which is nice to see. What I'm going to do now is I'm using a drop down rig. I'm in the pit. I'm in the pit. It's where I want to be. As I said many times, it's about the key to drags a set. The key to catching fish and catching decent fish is basically knowing what is out there, because you're looking for features. You're looking for sandbars, you're looking for gullies, you're looking for ditches, you're looking for anywhere that food will hold, okay? We're fishing the mouth of the estuary, okay? It's a big sandbar that runs out to the right hand side of me, and left hand side of me, sorry, I'm looking at the video. And all the sand around there is going to produce sand eel. And I've been sat here for the last 25 minutes watching the birds go down there, hammering them, coming back up and bringing them up. And that's going to bring in the rays. Now, especially in the winter time, obviously the fish are going to come in and feed up ready for the winter time, obviously the sand eels, when they start disappearing. Now, fantastic fishing, ray fishing, I love it. Small-eyed ray was always one of my favourites. To be honest, the blondes took over. It's a lot more hard fighting and more aggressive fish, which gets in bigger sizes, and it still doesn't change the love I have for small-eyes. They're a fantastic fish to catch, especially when you get into double figures. They look unreal, they're prehistoric, they're like Jurassic looking, and it is one of my favourite fish to catch. Obviously, I've set my drag. The reason I set my drag is you want the ray to run off with the bait. So when that rod tip goes over, the ratchet will go off. I'll lift up into the fish, tighten up the ratchet, pull back. Hopefully the fish is hooked. It's ray fishing, guys, at the end of the day. At the same time, nothing's guaranteed. But as I said, you put your baits in the right places, and it's a time game. It really is. And that's the art to my fishing especially. I don't like going to venues which, like, to me, Chesil Beach, fantastic place, throws up some fantastic fish. It's done me well over the years. I'm not going to say it hasn't, but it's seen me a lot more Chesil nightmare sessions when you're walking away and it's just defeated you rather than catching. But to me, it's pot luck. unless you're specifically targeting certain species, like so, for example, you're fishing a part of Chesil Beach where you know the clay beds are, and you specifically go in there to target it. But like the cod fishing, you can get cod anywhere up and down it, and it's pot luck for where you are. Some people go up and prefer deeper water, which can pay off. Other people prefer to go down in the shallower water and target. And cod have come up from West Bexington, Cogden, double figures, all the way down, all the way up to through Abbotsbury, all the way up to Ferrybridge. So it's one of them. But to me, it's not my kind of fishing, if I'm honest. I like to go places where I know the fish are going to hold. The reason why the fish are going to hold there, food source, or different times of the year and location, and that is basically to my fishing, really. It's especially specimen hunting and stuff like that. It's about, as I said, being in the right place at the right time and producing awards. And if you're at home sat down watching the telly and that, nothing's going to be guaranteed. You've got to be out there. And to be honest, the older I get, the bigger I get. Put some weight on this year, all those hot dogs and sausage rolls waiting for fish. But we had a phenomenal year last year with targeting different species. The bream, the black bream, to be honest, has opened my eyes up. It's taught me a lot about my fishing and how to target different types of fish in different locations and stuff. And I'm glad I've done it. And to be honest, it's going to take me away from my ray fishing a lot of years now, because it's something that I really enjoy doing. But at the same time, you can't do it all. Like, it's winter period now. What do I go for? What do I want? I would like a big smallard by the end of the year. I'd like another big bass. It'd be nice this year, but same again. I'd like to get a taupe. I'd like to get another big sow. I'd like to go placing. I'd like to go and do. There's loads of different things I'd like to do, but you can't do it all. You've got to pick a species and then commit to it, and that's really the art of it, really, guys. But I'm going to go and pour myself a cup of tea, sit back, and wait for those rod tips to go. So I've just baited up another rig, ready to rock and roll, and I'm going to bring my left rod in here now. Stripped, it's been out there a little while. Penn Fathom 15s, loaded with £20 line, £8 shock leader, which is attached with a spider hitch knot. It's right casting out far, it's bringing it in every time. Weed around the knot, clean that up. Ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll. So I'll leave that rig there a minute. Rig already done. It's a bit of a thicker sand deal this time. They are nice and chunky, the knockout bait seals. As you can see there now, that's perfect. Don't even need to double him up. If you get a sand deal and it looks small, it is worth half in a sand deal and bulking it out. But at the end of the day, you just if you use it at the end of the day with target rays, you've got 2 4-0 hooks, one for the main hook and a pennel. And if you put a single sandy on and it's too small, it won't look right. So that's when I like to bulk it out slightly. But their fish at the end of the day, they'll take it. They'll take it. A lot of you can see I'm using with my rigs, what I've just shown you, my normal everyday gear. And as I said, we looked at those Trident tackle components, and to be honest, I'm not a fan. You can't go wrong. It's worked. I know new things have come on the market, but sometimes in fishing, why change if it works? And it's easy, it's simple, and this does the trick for me. So let's get one out to the horizon. So Phil Stairs mag, no wind. So I've gone 1, 2 and a quarter there at the minute. I'm about to fly one out. Trying to get your footing right as well. You right? Woo! Right, I can feel myself in the bank there now. I don't want to be just on that flat sand. Pulled that back, and I can feel that into the side of the bank, that's where I want to be. Fingers crossed. Now, many years ago, I've had a few decent fish off around this area, and I don't know if he's watching it, but a friend of mine, Nigel Prickett, he lives over in Germany now, and this used to be his neck of the woods, his stomping ground years ago. He's had some fantastic bass and rays and different things from around this area, and on the way down here I sent him a couple of videos. I always like to say where I'm going when I'm coming down here, because obviously don't get a chance. I know last time he was down, he managed to get down and have a little bit of a spin fish. I don't think he had the big rods to go for a ray or anything, but I think he enjoyed himself from what I've seen in the videos and stuff. But it's an area which throws up a lot of different species. Conditions wise, I mean, I've had pollock here when it's been rough, and I mean real rough. Remember myself and Ryan Dunbrick come down here with another guy, Sam, and I had a special out that night towards a £5 mark, sand eel baits, and another mark further around the coastline. It's like the same reeling in one night, and I had one nearly £6, £5.14, £5.15, and I find it's got to be rough. And the same, a lot of the rough rock marks, when it's rough, it will throw up pollock. But one session many years ago, a bit of a nightmare, something that I don't like to relive, but it kept me up many sleepless nights. And it was the beginning of the year, and sometimes the rays won't go, they'll stay for a little while, and it must have been January. Come down with friend of mine at the time, Will Zari, and another guy, and we went further around fishing on the bar. 200 gram leads, tide was hammering through, and Sandy bailed out. Halfway through the session, rod went over, okay, and screaming offline, ratchet going click 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 click, hit into it. And when I hit into it, by the time I hit into it, it was out there somewhere, and it come round to in front of this rock, and the ray come right up out the water. I've never seen a ray come out of the water, and it actually come out of the water, went splat back down, and then was dove down for the bottom. So I rushed round, reeling, bringing the rounds on through. I'm using 80 pounds main rig body and trace line, and it was a big thornback. Now my biggest thornback's 12, and it was way over that. I've had blondes and that, obviously bigger sizes and stuff, and I would estimate the fish on the surface without weighing it about 17 to 18 pounds for a thornback. It was a monster, it really was. It was massive, and unfortunately the guy I was with, I was up on the rock like that. Instead of obviously guiding the fish in and grabbing by the wing, he grabbed the trace line and went to lift the fish up. And obviously the power of the fish and the weight of the fish just snapped the trace line. The fish just went straight down to the bottom. I could have died. But it's one of them. It goes to show what's there. And fish like that are around this area at different times of the year. You just got to know when and where and how to fish it. And obviously a lot of locals take advantage from that. To me, it's a bit of a I don't know. It's not a mark in my eyes which is known for specimen anglers. It's a bit like Hope's Nose and places like that will throw up decent fish every now and again, and it tends to get lots of crowds and people come down here because it's easy, and it does fish at times. I enjoy fishing it. It's a nice coastline to fish. So, one of the reasons you've got to check the bait. Spider crab. Don't know where it is, I'll put it right back in. Let's get everyone out. It's low here at the minute. Fingers crossed it picks up. We'll try something a bit different now. Different location. Pop one on right over the sandbar. It's worked before, hopefully it works again. That's what fishing's about for me, folks. Look at that view. Just about to get dark now, so fingers crossed it'll happen. Small eyed bray. Just take a rod grab over that minute. Right. Yeah. 7.6 off the floor. Small-eyed ray, just over £7 being returned to fight another day.